In this video I will show you how to play the London system, and we are going to take a look at all of the most aggressive and amazing lines for white instead of just the general IDs. So I will only analyze in this video these variations where we have d4, d5, and then I prefer first developing this knight and then developing this bishop, because with the knight first you are not immediately telling your opponent that you are playing the London system. So we're going to take a look at these main lines, especially for example after knight f6, and you know in the London there are many different lines. We will take a look at most of them. Our main idea is to play pawn to e3, and then of course, as you know, probably develop the bishop, create this pawn triangle, also develop this knight. There are many setups from black. This is the first one we're going to take a look at, if they keep this bishop stuck within of their own pawn chain. So e3 for example, and most played move by black is to play bishop to d6. The main idea is just to challenge our really strong bishop here on f4. And in the London, I am a big fan of moving your bishop back here to g3, just because you are baiting this move, bishop captures, and all of a sudden we have a rook active. And all of the lines I will show you are going to be the most aggressive attacking ones, so that is why I like playing this. But many people have already played against the London and they know that probably it's not so good to capture here. So they might do something like castles. Then we are going to continue with the normal London setup, for example with bishop d3. If you get a move like c5 earlier on, well, you can always just play c3 protecting this, so that's not really a problem. And if you get it here, of course we play it here. If they ever push pawn to c4, we are just going to drop back, and you can see this bishop is still really active on this diagonal. That is why c4 is actually not such a good move for black, but it still is played actually quite a lot by black, this push, but it doesn't really matter. We are going to play this, for example here knight c6, and that was the whole idea with black. You want to develop the knight, but you want to push the pawn first and then get the knight behind it, so you have more pressure here. And my recommendation if you are playing the London is don't castle too early, because there are so many amazing attacking lines, but you lose many of those chances if you castle too early. So we're just gonna develop another knight, knight b to d2 here, also influencing the square in the center, which is going to be really important for many of our tactics. And you will see we still haven't castled yet. And here it is black to move, and there are a couple of lines. The most played are b6, which we're going to take a look at. Also rook e8 is something that is played. We're going to take a look at that as well. And also what to do if they capture, for example. But first, b6. So b6 is the line you will face the most. And against this line, we have many amazing aggressive attacking options, because black just kind of weakened this diagonal, and this knight is also unprotected. So we are going to try to play for tricks. And this line that I will show you is just amazing. We are going to push e4 immediately, basically stopping this plan from black. Because if they do so, suddenly we can push pawn to e5. This is defended 3 times, and also this is a pawn fork, attacking both the knight and bishop. So we are guaranteed to win material. So of course, if black knows what they are doing, they won't play bishop here. They will try to stop this pawn push from us and make this impossible. The most played move, of course, is to capture, because if they capture now, the pawn is gone and we don't have this trick anymore. But we are going to set up new tricks. For example, rook takes e4. And rook takes e4, you can see, knight takes e4. Knight takes e4, you can see we are attacking this bishop. This bishop is attacked twice. So again, we are forcing black to make a decision. We are attacking our bishop twice. You have to do something. You have to either move it, or you can also capture us, but that's not so good again, because this rook is going to be activated. So almost everybody here will capture your knight with their knight, trying to eliminate the threat, but as you can see, we are immediately gaining new opportunities. Suddenly we have 2 really active bishops eyeing down this enemy queen side. Also, this knight is under attack. Moving it is not a good idea, because you would lose the rook. So this variation is pretty forced. Black doesn't really have many other options. And the move that we're going to play here that will go for amazing tactics and tricks is pawn takes c5. And the entire goal is, again, to put pressure on this bishop. If black is not careful, boom, he is losing this bishop, of course, after takes and takes, for example. So black will have to do something. Again, they can always capture here, but this is probably not so good. Even if they capture your queen, because all of a sudden we have active rooks, we have threats here, the bishop is attacking, so that is not what black wants. So black will probably capture this with the bishop, another forced move, and you will see we still haven't castled yet, but don't worry, we're gonna keep up the attack. We don't need to castle here. So we're gonna play this move queen a4, again creating the next threat. You want to create attack after threat and play forcing moves, forcing black to walk down this narrow path with you, because we will have amazing tricks at the end. So queen here, attacking this knight. Again, black has to do something about this. Most likely they're going to play knight here with this trick of also trying to exchange the bishop and relieve some pressure. They might also play rook c8, which I'll take a look at as well. So knight a5 is the most played move, and here we are still not going to castle. We are going to play rook to d1. Rook d1 attacking the queen, because we also want to get our rook involved in this attack. The queen has to move, and the reason I love this position so much is because up to this point, this was all very forcing, and you will get this many times playing the London. Here it is black to move, but it is so easy for black to go wrong. There is only one move that keeps black alive, and that move is queen to c8. If they play something else, they will always lose. For example, I'm going to show you first, for example, queen e7. Now we have this rook move. So after this rook move, we are threatening to win the queen, threatening to win material, and black just has to sacrifice the queen here. If they do something else, for example, move the queen back, we even have this checkmate. Bishop takes, queen in, knight g5, and this is going to lead to checkmate. Black can try to stop this with a move like bishop here, but again, this might lead to checkmate. For example, this, again, we're going to threaten the checkmate, and black can of course not capture this because of checkmate. Maybe black has to play something like this, but again, bishop here, all of these threats, and black is just losing. So that is why in this position, queen e7 is a bad move. Queen e8 is also something you might see. Bam, sacrifice the bishop, go in with the queen, and we go for this checkmate again. So always this same idea. And the only way for black to defend is to play this move queen c8. And after queen c8, the thing that we are gonna do is again bishop takes h7. But this line is actually defendable by black, but I think if you play this, black will almost never be able to defend. If you want to be more safe, you can always castle here. But I would recommend to keep up the attack. Even though there is a crazy engine defense line, I would say keep going and play bishop takes h7, queen in, and knight in. And many players here will just not know what to do. We already have this checkmate threat. Of course, this doesn't work because this is checkmate. So black has to do something. Of course, this is also checkmate. So black basically has to move the rook, or maybe do this. But of course, this is also still a checkmate threat, so that doesn't work. Rook d8 is probably the only real move that they can play, because for example, if they just move the rook here, there is check, we can go back, threaten checkmate, again threaten checkmate, give a check, and this is already a checkmate as well. So basically the only move for black is to play this move rook d8. And if you get this, I would recommend to just castle first. And we are not castling to be safe with our king, we are castling because we want to connect our rooks and keep up the attack. For example, rook takes, which is the most played line. And here you will see we are still down a full bishop. But even though we are down a bishop, we still have this attack, and also we can always push pawn to b4, forking these two pieces. And then we are winning back material. If black tries to do some counter checkmate, you can just do check, and then for example go back here with your knight to block this diagonal, and you will see we are still down a full piece. But what is black gonna do? It's really hard to defend this. If they want to save this bishop, if you just take a look, you will see there's actually nowhere to go. Of course this would be losing, all of the other squares are occupied, and if they go here, this is just a checkmate. So they can't save the bishop. If they try to save the knight to prevent us from forking, we have something like queen check, king here, bishop check, they have to block, queen takes, queen check, again queen check, and then bring in the knight. And for example, after they go here, again another queen check, and then also a checkmate. So if they try to save one of those pieces, the knight or the bishop, they will always get into a checkmate. So basically the only defense, which I don't think you will get a lot, is this move f6. That is the only defense from black. And if they play this, there are crazy moves that you can play if you're interested, like bishop here, but you can also always just decide, okay, I'm gonna stop attacking here and we're just gonna fork this, for example, after they move back, and just win this piece here. That is also possible. Of course, in this variation that we just had a look at, they are not forced to go for this exchange here on d4. They can also always exchange your bishop. If they do so, you can always just recapture. This activates your rook, and they will have to try and defend this. And in most of those lines, you will be able to play this pawn to e5. If they capture you earlier, you can just capture back with the knight. And here it's already really hard for black to find good moves. If they go for something like this, for example, bam, bishop takes here, and this bishop is also protected. So they will have to go back. You can go back with the bishop. They have to go here. There are actually multiple good lines here for white. So if they capture this, still you are winning, of course. So probably they are not going to do that. They are going to play something like pawn to h6. And if they play this, we are going to keep up the attack, and we will do this with our g-pawn. We're going to use this g-pawn as a weapon to attack the enemy, but of course if you push it here, the knight can capture you. And that is why you want to play this move e5 first, chasing away the knight, and then pushing this pawn to g4. Again, find a move for black, maybe something like f6. It's already hard to find good moves. Capture, capture, and then we're going to continue with the attack with a move like g5. If they take you, you can take back, but I would recommend to go to d5, taking away this square, and in these lines there are also many amazing tricks. If they capture you, you can just take back, and here there's a beautiful move, rook h8, check. If they capture you, check with the queen, check with the bishop, you go back, also taking away this square, and then you can go for this checkmate. So even in this main line, if they decide to capture your bishop on g3, they will be in a lot of trouble. And then the last thing that I want to take a look at is if you are in this variation, so we are in the main line, and they play b6, e4, what to do if they play bishop back to e7. So after bishop back to e7, there are multiple things we can do. I would recommend to capture here. And the main idea in these variations is to free up as many files and diagonals as we can for our pieces. Because if we want to launch an attack, we will need open lines. So this is already opening up the D file. Then we can castle, for example. You might get some counterattack here, but you don't have to worry about this. We can bring the rook into the game. For example, after takes, 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 and you don't even have to remember the exact move order here, but the thing is you want to capture twice here and open up as many files as you possibly can. And for example, you might get this position. And here you will already start seeing that white has some chances. We can jump in with the knight, also threaten them here. This is annoying. The best option for black is to take, but all of a sudden white here has multiple attacking chances. We have two bishops eyeing down this enemy king side. We can also go in with the queen. This knight might be able to join in. This rook might be able to come over. So lots of problems for black to solve. Okay, we lost a single pawn here on b2, but that doesn't really matter. And it's hard to find anything here for black. The best option is to chase away the bishop with a move like f6, but there are many crazy lines here. For example, queen h5. Queen h5 attacking this h7 pawn. And of course, if they capture here, you can take with the bishop, go here, and then have this checkmate as well. So they cannot capture your bishop. If they want to play a move like g6, you can just sacrifice the bishop here. If they capture this, capture with the queen. For example, they go back, and then even a move like rook e4, swinging in the rook. This is amazing stuff. Since we are even sacrificing this rook here in the corner, but we don't care. The knight can always come back and block us. And then, for example, here, check, check with the rook, and checkmate with the queen. So, in these lines, I would recommend to go for this because you have such amazing attacking chances even after they play a move like bishop to e7. If you want to learn more about the London system, this video is part of a playlist in which I will go over all of the different lines as well. So definitely subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment. I read all comments, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!